Okay, so we are live. So the sutta what we are going to take up is Dvedhāvitakkasutta. So the Vitakka is about, actually it is about to debate, to think, to ponder, to see, to verify, and majorly it is about takka, that is to debate. So generally we debate what we want to do. So in the mind we first make that happen, whatever we would like to do, and that turns itself into vitakka and vichara. So first we debate in vitakka and then we do vichara, which is thinking. Before we would have done anything on kaya, we would have had this vitakka and vichara, and hence it is called as vachi sankhara. So Dvedhāvitakkasutta is about a debate which happens in the mind relating to what should be done and what should not be done, depending upon the situations which get presented at that point in time. So Buddha here explains about his experience. What did he experience? And just like we are unawakened, he was unawakened or not having the panya. But he left the home, became homeless, in search of that panya. Okay. So this sutta talks about what Buddha did and how did he do it. When these two conflicting thoughts started to debate, whereas he still wanted to get relief from the suffering, and that's the reason he had gone out. So he starts with that before my awakening. So what he did is he purposefully divided the thoughts into two classes. So this is what the Samma Sankappo and Miccha Sankappo is all about. So he came up with the Noble Eightfold Path in two classes. One is Ariya and another one is Anariya. So one is Samma and another one is Miccha. So Miccha Ditti, Miccha Sankappo, Miccha Vacha, Miccha Kammanto, Miccha Ajivo, Miccha Vayamo, Miccha Sati, Miccha Samadhi. These are the seven. These are the 8. And the proper one are Samma Ditti to Samma Samadhi. So he first divided into two kinds, two classes or two categories. One which is Miccha Sankappo, wherein one would get Kama Vitakka, Vyapada Vitakka, Vihimsa Vitakka. So one would get a very sensual, lustful debate on what to be done when he sees an object, when he hears an object, when he tastes an object, when he thinks about an object, and when he touches the object, when he smells that object. And when that object is removed away from him or her, it turns into Vyapada. Dvedhāvitakkasutta. That means ill will or anger or agitation or irritation, whatever that kind is. And vihimsa is having a real violent way on oneself or on others that it has not come to him. So generally it is cruel. A person can be cruel to himself and can be cruel to others. Then what he did is he created another set which looks at the anicca dukkha anatta side of it, and then named it as Samma Sankappo, wherein Nekkhamma Vitakka has to be there. Abhyapada Sankappo, wherein Abhyapada Vitakka is going to be there. And Avihimsa Sankappo, which is Avihimsa Vitakka. Now these are the two kinds of thoughts, or rather two kinds of debate, depending upon the object which is appearing in front of everyone. So just like Buddha, we also have these coming. So we can divide it by two. One is Miccha, another one is Samma. And this particular sutta talks about the Miccha Sankappo and Samma Sankappo. Because if you look at the Samma Sankappa, these are the three things: Nekkhamma Sankappo, Abhyapada Sankappo, Avihimsa Sankappo. That means determination to remove the sensual thoughts or sensual debate which happens in the mind, to decide upon sensual by sight, sound, taste, touch, smell and thoughts, making it as mine or myself. And then when not getting it, feeling rage, feeling anger, feeling irritated and cruel way of looking at things. So we can also do that, depending upon the situation, depending upon the object which comes in front of us. Then as he meditated, now what is this meditation? So now we have gone through the jhana vibhanga. Hope you remember, jhana is not about closing the eyes and sitting. It's about applying jhana in all the postures. So jhana vibhanga spoke about what is a jhana. Jhana is savitakka savichara piti sukha ekagata, which is applicable in all the postures all the time. So when he says here, when he says tassa maiham bhikkave evam appamattassa atapino pahitattassa viharato uppajjati kama vitakko. Now the problem in English is that everything becomes meditation. And he has indicated atapi in Satipatthana Vibhanga. What's the meaning of atapi? Atapi is Samma Vayamo. Here it is Miccha Vayamo. So we have to go to Vibhanga to see the true meaning, what is written there. If we just put this as meditated, it means that he sat at one place looking at the sensual thoughts. It's not so. It's while he is doing whatever he is doing, the sensual thoughts arose. Then what he did? Uppanno ko me ayam kama vitakko. Now he becomes aware, sampajanya. That means he is applying samadhi, or he is supposed to apply samadhi. So when he applies samadhi, he finds that it leads to hurting himself. Socha ko atta bhadapi. Bhada is problem, pain, hurt. Samvattati parabhyabhadayapi. That is, it can hurt others or it can hurt both. Samvattati panya nirodhiko vighatha pakhiko anibban samvattaniko. Before we proceed on this, we need to remember 7 things what he was looking at. Number 1, nibiddhaya. So at present it is na nibiddhaya, na viragaya, na nirodhaya, na upasamaya, na bhinyaya, na sambodhaya, na nibbānaya. These are the 7. So na nibiddha does not lead to disillusionment. It leads to illusion. Na viragaya does not lead to ending of the raga. Na nirodhaya, extinguishment in terms of non-arising. Na upasamaya doesn't give any peace. Na bhinyaya does not give a personal experience, which is far better than anything in sensuality. Na sambodhaya does not lead to the awakening of the 4 noble truths. Na nibbānaya does not lead to complete cessation, complete relief. So these are the 7 things. Now he applied samadhi on the ayam kama vitakko through samma sati. He became aware. So when he became aware, he came to know that it is going to hurt himself, it's going to hurt others, it's going to hurt him and others. So now atta vyabhadaya samvattati tipi me bhikkhave patisanchikkato abhantam gacchati. When I looked as vyabhadaya, it's going to cause problem to me. And what it would do is, it is going to do pati sanchikhati. Pati sanchikha means to cause injury. Now we'll see what kind of injury is that. It causes injury. And it, when he started doing that, and if we were to do it exactly the same way, we can see it goes away. So let's say I already have a monitor for my PC, it's working very well, but then a new monitor has come into the market and I feel like buying it. Now when I feel like buying it, the vitakka starts. Should I buy or shouldn't I buy? So when I want to buy, I have to push the thought of not buying. But if I don't have to buy, then it gives that peace. Now what is this peace here is that I already have a monitor. It's working perfectly fine. And there is no need for me to buy that monitor just because it has an HDMI input or some other input which has come out in the market. Or let's say it has 2 HDMI input and my monitor has 1 HDMI. Or let's say that it has wireless and at present I don't have the wireless. Or it has an LED monitor and mine is an LCD monitor. Or whatever might be the reason, it's working. Now immediately the mind will fix itself in purchasing that and starts finding fault at the monitor what it currently has. And this is what is called as kama vitakka. After seeing the monitor on YouTube or on that company portal, I feel like buying. So when I reflected that it's going to hurt my practice, a practice of disenchantment, instead I'll get into enchantment, nibbidda. Na nibbiddaya, na viragaya, na nirodhaya, na upasamaya, na bhinyaya, na sambodhaya, na nibbanaya. So that means I will never get nibbana to experience. So when I reflect upon that, immediately that thought goes away. That's what he's also saying here. So when I reflected that is going to lead problem to others. So others here is the family members. They are going to say that you already have a monitor. What is the great need for you to change this monitor? Now I have to supply enough evidence why this monitor has to be replaced. And in the way it is going to hurt both of them. That's again truth. So when I do that, I can see that the panya nirodho happens, meaning the wisdom doesn't come. I am burning with desire. I am burning with that hunger, that thirst to buy that monitor. And same thing might be with a woman or a man. Same thing can be with food. Let's say I want to order a pizza. In the home, they have cooked a nice dinner. But I am bored of eating the same thing. Now I want a taste, a different taste. So I want to order a pizza. It's the same problem. The human mind gets bored seeing the same thing. It wants new things. That's what sensuality is all about. We want something new. So that's the reason we keep on asking what's new. Because that is how kama vitakka works. So it blocks the wisdom. And it is on the side of what? Vighata pakkiko. it creates such a gap and a danger that Nibbana can never be experienced. So no matter how much I try, I cannot go beyond Sotapanna, if at all I am a Sotapanna. Because the karma is going to take so much that it's not going to allow me to do anything other than that. So it doesn't lead. Now when I see the danger, when I see that what is that I'm doing, it immediately goes away. Now when it goes away, Soko aham, that is I, bhikkhave, uppanna pannam, kamavitakkam, pajahameva, vinodameva, bhyantameva, nam akasim. So what he did is, he gave up. Pajahameva, observed and gave off. He did not entertain it. Vinodameva. Bhyantameva. He did not really get involved with that thought. Then the same thing happened with malicious thought, ill will. Now that my family member did not wanted me to buy that monitor, or my family member did not wanted to eat that sweet, or the family members did not wanted me to visit that place, or the family member did not wanted me to go with a girl, or the family member did not allow me to watch a movie, whatever that can be, a malicious thought, a ill will thought appears. I hate that there is so much of restriction that has been put by my family members on me, that there is no freedom. Let's say my friends give me a call and they're meeting in a club, and I would love to go to the club. Even though I don't drink nor smoke, they feel that I should spend time with them. Well, my wife says, you are supposed to be working out on Buddha Dhamma. What will you get by going there? Well, her question is valid, but I feel so compelled of being with my friend who is in the club with some of friends whom I know, and I would like to engage. So I will tell her that I can spread Buddha Dhamma even in the club. And she laughs at me. Oh, I didn't know even the Buddha Dhamma can be implemented in the club when they're drinking. So I will tell her that, you know what, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but that doesn't mean that I can't go to the club. I can go to the club and talk about Dhamma. And after arguments, which is ill will, I somehow convince her that I need to go to the club, and she allows me to go to the club. And in the club, what happens? That I am starting to eat something, and after a while, my friend says that one glass of beer, what problem does it do to you actually? And in fact, beer drinking is so nice because it cures. If you have any kidney problem, kidney stones, they recommend beer. I say that, boss, I don't drink. I know that you don't drink, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be drinking. I know you are doing some Dhamma or whatever it is. That's fine. I don't think so. One glass of beer is going to do anything that is going to spoil your Dhamma. I'll somehow say that, no, I don't wish to drink. But don't drink, but you can eat at least, right? So the eating shouldn't have any problem. We have ordered so many snacks, you can partake on the snacks. So now I'm not supposed to be eating in odd hours, odd time, because it spoils the meditation, spoils the Sankappo, Abhyapada Sankappo, and then Nekkhamma Sankappo is lost. Renunciation is not there, so the Nibbida doesn't happen. Again I come back to na Nibbidaya, na Viragaya, na Nirodhaya, na Upasamaya, na Abhinyaya, na Sambodhaya, na Nibbanaya. This is what my nature would be. Now that I am there, I start eating something. Now when I start eating something, then they will say that, why don't you have at least a cool drink? What's the problem? It's Coke or Pepsi or something. Or you want to have fruit juice, you can have it. What's there? Now I can't convince them that it is not drinks or alcohol. Okay, alcohol you're not having, agreed, but you can have this. Having come, and they are speaking something of the world. It can be on the finances, it can be on the politics, it can be on the countries, it can be on the different places to visit, it can be on the career, it can be on the job, what he has got or she has got, it can be on the affairs, it can be on the movies, it can be on food, it can be on sports, it can be on investments, it can be on roads, services, it can be on film actors and actress, like that. So I spend good 2 to 3 hours. Instead of Dhamma, I am spending time in this, which is literally sensual, Kama Vitakka, and Vyapada Vitakka. So when I start talking to them, this will be nonsense talks, and then there are a lot of emotions. And it keeps on feeding. Because I lost my diligent way of working. And the same thing with cruel thought, violence. Now they open up a topic which is very sensitive. It can be politics, it can be religion, it can be a particular tradition, it can be a particular political climate, it can be a particular job or a company or an organization, it can be volunteering, it can be whatever. They all have violence in its backyard. So that will arise. So what did I do by going to club is that I added sensual Kama Vitakka, Vyapada Vitakka, Vihimsa Vitakka. So now I can, if I apply Samma, Vayama, Atapi, and Samma Sati, and Samma Ditti, then it will go away. For sure. But the question comes, why? Why do I get these thoughts? Why am I doing this vitakka debate? Why this debate is coming? That should I do this or should I do that? Then he found out that if one thinks, he becomes. So let me give you some examples, which is a practical experience you can have. None of you are husband and none of your wife and none of your student and none of you are a citizen of a country. None of you are owning anything or doing anything, etc., etc. But we put a designation and a title and then make to believe that you are that. So when I made to believe, I become that. So if now because I got married, I become a husband. Just because I'm going to school, I become a student. Just because I'm teaching, I become a teacher. So that becoming bhava. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. So you become what you think. Now the second one, chetana aham bhikkhave kammam vadami. Now the intention creates the kamma. So he says here, yanyadeva bhikkhave bhikkhu bahula manuvitakketi anuvichareti tatha tatha nati hoti chetaso. So now when a person debates to do something and starts thinking, anuvicharati. Vichara is to think, to do something. Tatha tatha nati hoti chetaso. So their chitta becomes that. So we have gone through the 9 stages of Vijnana, starting with chitta, mano, manasan, hadayam, pandaram, mana yatanam, mana indriyam, Vijnana khando. In that, start thinking. The chitta gives rise to mano and manasan. If it comes, it's okay. You identify what it is. But it goes to hadayam. Now the hadaya vattu is the seat of the mind. So it becomes mine. It is my thought. It is my club. It is my friend. So now, if one consider sensual thoughts, then the next class, which is Samma Sankappo, Abhyapada Sankappo, Avihimsa Sankappo, can never come. Only one kind of this will come, the other kind will not come. If we have Nekamma Sankappo, Abhyapada Sankappo, Avihimsa Sankappo, then the other 3 will not come. That is Kama Vitakko, Vyapada Vitakko and Vihimsa Vitakko. So he gives a simile, an example. Supposing it's the last month of a rainy season, when the crops are growing closely together and a cowherd must take care of the cattle. So he will poke them with his staff and on this side and to keep them in check. Because he sees that if they wander into the crops, what will wander? The cattle. He would be executed, imprisoned, fined and condemned. In the same way, I have to check the unskillful qualities and find the drawbacks of that. Evameva ko aham bhikkhave addasam akusalanam dhammanam adinavam okaram sankilenam kusalanam dhammanam nekhammo anisamsam podaso pakkam. So I need to look at the drawbacks of this akusala and develop kusala, which has the power to benefit in getting nekham, to renounce this arising and passing away of all the 5 senses and sense objects. Then he started meditating diligently, keen and resolute. Atapino with effort. Appamattas, keeping track of what is being done, and that's called diligence. Pahitas, definitive, resolute. Nekhamma vitakko came. And then he found that it is good. It doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt others, or hurting both. So I don't have to go to the club. I can give when a friend calls me saying that why don't you meet me in the club? And I'm going to say to him, yes, my dear friend, I would love to join to your club. But unfortunately, my practice, abhyasa, is not allowing me to do that. And hence, please excuse me that I'm not able to come to the club. Some other time, let's see, but I can't compromise on my practice and come there. Then if he insists, what is the practice you're doing? And then my answer would be, look, I'm practicing viraga, or removal of raga, dvesha, moha. So that is what I am practicing. And then if he wants to ask me, what does that mean? I would say that, look, my dear friend, we've been meeting so long for so many years and doing the same thing. All our experiences to date have become just memories. And we are unsatisfied, and that's the reason we are meeting again and again and again. So I am finding a solution to this, that no matter how many times we meet, the dissatisfaction is going to continue. Is there something where I can get completely satisfied? And that's my practice. And hearing to that, my friend wouldn't probe me further because it doesn't make sense for him. So he cuts the call. So now I have done renunciation, nekhamma. And now I can keep on thinking on this all the day and all the night, because I see no danger that would come out of it. But then if I were to do this all night and all day, I cannot sleep. That means it's going to tire my body. And when the body is tired, the mind is stressed. And when the mind is stressed, it cannot get into samadhi. So what I did, or what I should be doing, after cutting the call with my friend, I need to see any hidden thoughts are there which will project and say that you should have at least gone this time. Instead of that, just relax, watching the breath and looking at the anicca nature and the dukkha nature and anatta nature, also considering what would happen while I am frequenting that club, and that is my last meal to have, and I die. What happens? Where would I land? Then the mind gives up. When that happens, the mind is not stressed. And then a goodwill thought also comes, because I see my friends, they are struggling, they're enjoying that drink or whatever they're enjoying. Unfortunately, they don't know Dhamma. Unfortunately, I am not able to help them. But I will have goodwill. Abhyapada vitakka. Here I will use metta bhavana on them. Now, I don't have the thought of vyapada of not going, or any vyapada toward my family members or anyone. I'm totally relaxed. And because I'm totally relaxed, there is nothing of harm, cruel. Why did he call me? He knows that I'm doing Dhamma. He didn't have any better ideas. All these are cruelty, violence against him, the friend, or with myself. Vihimsa. Now it is avihimsa. Now when I do this, I keep on doing savitakkasavichara about this all the time. What is going to happen? Eventually, it leads to nekhamma, abhyapada, avihimsa. So he gives an example. Supposing it's the last month of summer, when all the crops have been gathered into the neighborhood of a village, and the cowherd must take care of the cattle. While at a root of a tree or in open, he need only be mindful that the cattle are there. In the same way, I only need to be mindful that those things were there. So now I can get into samadhi. Now again we go back to the jhana vibhanga, where he explains how to do jhana. Now when I create this, two things I need to create. Vitakka, I need to create the necessary condition, which is nekhamma sankappo, abhyapada sankappo, avihimsa sankappo. And before that, I need to also develop something about akusala. So in the vibhanga, jhana vibhanga, there is an explanation of what do you mean by this are akusala. So I need, or I should have by now removed kama chanda, vyapada, thinnamida, udacha kukkucha visiki icha. This should have been removed for me to enter into fourth jhana. If I don't have that, equanimity can never get established. And without equanimity, going further is not possible. So it's not about can I get into first jhana. First jhana is about nekkamma sankappo, abhyapada sankappo, avihimsa sankappo. The second jhana is that now that you have not done what the bad deeds, you feel pity. And now you can keep your mind on that. You feel so happy, so glad. And again in the Vibhanga, it is a great explanation of what is the meaning of the term pity. Okay, so there is a great explanation of all of these terms. And also on Sukha. And also on Ekagata. And the problem with Ekagata is called as Ekagrata in Sanskrit, and that means one-pointedness, concentration, all that. But Ekagata is not one-pointedness, it is oneness. You are one with everything. There is no you left. So when the you is not there or I is not there, it's the most peaceful state. And now you can reflect upon everything you want. So I can land myself in a nice peaceful state with the first samadhi, savitakkasavichara, piti sukha ekagata. Then I come to the second samadhi, wherein there is no need for the vitakka and vichara. It's automatically have happened. I've taken care of the kama, chanda, vyapa, the thinnamida, udacha, kukucha, visikicha, and also vivichehi kamehi. That is, I have come out of this kama completely. What does that mean? It means that I'm not connecting the five senses with the five sense object through indriya bhavana. I have seen the indriyas, so they are not connected. So with these two things properly in place, I can enter into the first jhana, and then after some time it automatically takes to the second jhana where I have piti, and it enters into the third jhana. And when I am in that third jhana, upekha starts. What is upekha? Upekha here is you are equanimous to the situations. Neither raga exists nor dvesha exists. The two extremes are not there. And there is no moha. So you find a complete peace. And when that happens, the body sukha, pahana, sukhasya cha pahana, dukkhasya cha pahana, pubbeva so manasa do manasanam, attangama. So there are two terms, udayangama and attangama. This is there in all Indian languages. Udaya means sunrise and attangama means sunset. So just like sunset, there is sukha and dukkha. And so manasa and do manasa goes away. And it creates, or you will experience adukkhama asukham. Upekha sati parisuddham chatutham jhanam upasampachas viharati. Now you are in the most purest of the mind, chitta, that purest. And when the person is in this, first vidya comes. It's about all the past lives. And then the second one. You get knowledge of death and rebirth of sentient beings. Chutu papata jnana. Chuti means cutting. Papata means migration, moving from that place. Jnana is where they are heading. So you will come to know whether they are inferior or superior, beautiful or ugly, in a good place or a bad place. Now you can understand how sentient beings are reborn according to their deeds. So the second knowledge that comes. So he always calls it Tivijja, three Vijja. And he calls it as Veda Guru. This is the Veda, three Vedas. Not the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda. He's talking about the first Veda, which is understanding Pubbe Nivasati Jnana. Where all has he stayed? Then Chutu Papata Jnana. Then the third one is Asavakhaya Jnana. And then when you get the asava khaya jnana, you know you are in vimukti. Now the question comes, can a person come to know about it? Yes, absolutely. Can a person experience that? Yes. Can a person also knows that this is suffering, that is, this is dukkha. This is the cause of the dukkha. This is a cessation of the dukkha. And this is what you did to get out of this. Yes, this also will be experienced. So this is how the three knowledge will come. So now he gives an example. Supposing that in a forested wilderness, there was an expanse of low-lying marshes, and a large herd of deer lived nearby. Then come along a person who wants to harm, injure, and threaten them. They close off the safe, secure path that leads to happiness and open the wrong path. They plan to place domesticated male and female deer as decoys. So in the due course, that herd of deer would fall into ruin and disaster. Now, this is the first simile. The second simile, then along comes a person who wants to help keep the herd of deer safe. They open up the safe, secure path that leads to happiness and close off the wrong path. They get rid of the decoys, so that in the due course, the herd of deer would grow, increase, and mature. And this is the point I'm making, is what he says and what it means. An expanse of low-lying marshes is a term for sensual pleasures. A large herd of deer is a term for sentient beings. A person who wants to harm, injure, and threaten them is a term for Mara, the wicked. There are 5 Maras. The first Mara is Marana, death, which is happening all the time. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and in the night. In the morning, you eat breakfast. After some time, all that food is gone. Then you again feel hungry. So you going to eat again in the afternoon. And after that, again in the night. And in sleep, you are gone. There is no you left. You have no idea who you are. So the Mara. And can have Marana, death, blow. Then the Khanda Mara, 5 Khandas, Rupa Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, Vijnana Khanda. Then the third Mara, Abhisankhara Mara. So all the willful action I'm doing through Kaya Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara, Mano Sankhara are conditioned by the Mara, Abhisankhara Mara. Then you have Devaputta Mara, which is the one what Buddha encountered. Whether we are going to encounter this Devaputta Mara, we don't know. But the remaining 3 we already have. The fourth one, Klesha Mara. We have all the kleshas with us in good quantity. So now we have the Mara and his daughters. The daughters are 3. Raga is one daughter. Tanha is another daughter. Arati is another daughter. Raga is the sensual lust, sensual desires, sensual interest. And then Arati is dissatisfaction. We are uncontented with whatever we have at that point in time. Supposing by chance you want to get contented, tanha takes over, craving. So, this is what it is. So we already have the Mara. Then the wrong path is a term for wrong eightfold path. Miccha ditti, Miccha Sankappo, Miccha Vacha, Miccha Kammanto, Miccha Ajivo, Miccha Vayamo, Miccha Sati, Miccha Samadhi. A domesticated male deer is a term for greed and relishing. Nandiragas. A domesticated female deer is a term for avidya, ignorance. Now comes a realized one who wants to keep the herd of deer safe. The safe and secure path that leads to happiness is the term for noble eightfold path. That is Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappo and all that. So now he says that I have opened up the safe, secure path of happiness by closing the wrong path. And I've got rid of the male and female domesticated deer, which is Nandiraga and Avijja. They both are not there. I have done this out of compassion. Anukampena anukampam upadaya katam votam maya. And I have done what a teacher should do who wants what best from their students. Etani bhikkave rukkamulani etani sunyagarani jhayata bhikkave ma pamadattha ma pacha vipatti sareno ahuvattha ayam vo amhakam anusasani. Now go to the root of the tree or to the empty huts. Practice jhana. Appamada. Don't be negligent and don't regret later. This is my instruction to you. And we end this sutta. So what is the takeaway from Dvedhāvitakkasutta? We get this sensual thought and ill will and himsa, violent thoughts, because we don't see the danger. That's what the deer is all about as a simile. And the Mara will never allow this one to happen. That is the right path to be taken. So every one of us will be tormented by Ragadvesha Moha. And also this state of enjoying the sensual, Kama Vitakka, Vyapada Vitakka, Vihimsa Vitakka. We find issue with everything in this world because the world is something which cannot be corrected. That's the Mara. You cannot correct it. You can correct the way you see the world rather than correcting the world. There are some people who believe that I will change the world. Okay, great, good news, enjoy. And there are people who keep on searching and searching and searching. That also is the act of Mara, because there is always dissatisfaction, arati. And arati creates enough room for tanha, craving. And arati and tanha brings in its sister, raga. So Mara and his daughters are always there with us as a guiding lamp for life after life. It's all about observing ourselves with one or the other sutta and seeing what strikes in that. The moment it strikes, it means we have created an island, safety. So we need to choose a sutta which appropriately brings us that experience. Every sutta provides that experience, but every sutta is not meant for everyone, and that's the reason you have Anguttara Nikaya, you have Majjhima Nikaya, you have Dīgha Nikaya, you have Samyukta Nikaya. So these Nikayas are there for a reason, that it is not meant for all the people in the same way. So there's no point in reading every given sutta, every given 86,000 suttas what Buddha has enumerated. We don't have to do that. What we need to do is observe ourselves in which sutta that enlightenment happens. That is, we need to look at the 7 Bojjhanga, Sati Sambojjhanga. So I should be able to establish Sati. Dhamma Vichaya Sambojjhanga. Dhamma Vichaya is again Samma Ditti. So if you read Samma Ditti Sutta of Sariputta, he gives a beautiful explanation on what is Samma Ditti. He gives examples. What is Samma Ditti? Then Virya Bojjhanga. So Samma Vayama, removing 2 akusala and adding only kusala. Samma Vayama. Virya Sambojjhanga. Then Piti Sambojjhanga. If the first 3 have matured, it will give you Piti. And Pasiddhi. Pasaddhi here means that you have tranquil. Mind is still. And that gives you Samadhi Sambojjhanga. So now you can go to first to 4 jhana without any problem. And then Upekha Bojjhanga. So through that we can really see how we are progressing. And we can refer the sutta for our own growth. We don't have to really go and keep on searching, because arati is always there. Out of the 10 armies of the Mara, arati is the darkest of them. It will never allow Visikiccha to ever go out. It will keep on creating Visikiccha, doubt. This will work, or that will work, or this will happen, that will happen. And that again creates room for the Vihimsa and Vyapada. Because I get frustrated. The moment there is frustration, arati has won the game. And with arati comes tanha. And tanha and arati brings raga. Again, I'm back in the same place where I was before. So I cannot go beyond 2 jhanas, first and second jhana. Sometimes I can go to 3rd jhana. And establishing myself in the 4th jhana is difficult, because then if it is really established, then I should be able to see all my past birth. That means this is for Arahat. But before that, Anagami state also we would have achieved. So any questions on this beautiful sutta? And thanks to Murli for asking to cover this sutta. It is very nice sutta. to practice. This one sutta can take us from Sotapanna to Arahat. That's a guaranteed one, because he covers on what happens once we get into the fourth jhana. So that means it covers the Arahat Phala Samapatti also. Any comments or any questions? Otherwise we can end for today. All are in jhana?
No question from my side.
Okay, no problem. Shreyas and Preeti, any questions or shall we end?
We can end.
Okay, so Namo Buddhaya will again meet either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Namo Buddhaya. Good night. Good night then. Bye.
Namo Buddhaya.